All right, gang. You know what we do? We back at it. The daily spread. Always coming here because the boy is led. And you know I gotta rhyme all the time. It's your boy G3 Easy. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Spread on Roots Holistic. We're still in the what you call 1010 portal energy. And you know they're not messing with what's energy. I hope you get the pun right there. I got my Law of Attraction cards deck here. It's an oracle deck, and I'm just trying to see, like, yo, with most portals, we know it's like it's a portal, it's an energy. So, what is it that we're attracting right now? Wow, one card just flipped out, and it is I can pivot on a. I always take my mistakes because there's no accidents. There's no failure. Failure doesn't exist. I was actually watching a video about Kobe, and they were asking him about like how does he feel about failure, and he was saying failure doesn't exist, because ultimately you use those lessons and you reapply them. I'm also thinking how fail could stand for first attempt in learning. So yeah, um, whoa man, the channels always come through with something crazy. But here we are. I just saw 1, 2, 3 on a timer as well. Everything's in alignment. We following the assignment as well. Ooh, somebody's learning some new things. Somebody's learning some new things. But yeah, I can pivot under any and all conditions. And then also, if the way I was saying it, I can pivot on so you might be on top of something, you might be sitting on top of an idea, a project, I don't know, you got something in the works, but you're sitting on something, and it looks like whatever this thing is going to help you change directions, yeah. um and then on the back of the deck, I see it says, oh, there's even an eye on here talking about I see. It says, I can see my world through the eyes of Source. Wow, wow, that's so powerful. And it's a number 9 on it. And we are in the number 9 year, 2025, if you add all those numbers. 9 speaks to completion and all that. But as I'm looking at this eye is like on this person's tummy area, and that's giving me something about some sacral energy as well. But at the same time, this eye is so huge. I'm also getting all-seeing eye, third eye. But just reading the text itself, if we three, come on, man. Wow. If we, yeah, 3, of course, guys, that number always comes through for me. It's your boy G3 Easy. What he do? What he do? And we just passed the 3rd minute in this video. So, it's like a grand welcoming, it's like it had to be ushered in or initiated. So somebody might be going through some kind of initiation for sure. But if we see ourselves through the eyes of Source, it's like seeing ourselves like God, which is infinite, abundant beings. And I think that's very powerful. This speaks to limitlessness. It's like, something I was mentioning even yesterday in the reading about how there's a galaxy within, and there's a galaxy outside of us. Something about 340, I'm also thinking about how there's like a revolution, and it's like you're almost there, it's about to hit the 360. So yeah, that was just a number that I saw on the timer real quick. But anyway, let's stop right here with these oracle cards. Let's tap in, let's tune in, let's see what we got. But oh wow, okay, one card's already wanting to come out. Awareness again, guys. We had this card yesterday. Okay, cool. But Spirit, what we got? Tell us more about this pivoting under any and all conditions. Wow. Whoa, too many cards, Spirit. But you know what? I'm just going to read through all of them quickly. We have playfulness, politics, nothingness, flowering, comparison, the outsider, the lovers, suppression. Okay, I think that might be of some relevance or synchronicity, but I'll put them back into the deck. Please let us know what you got. Okay, you're saying this one right here. Ooh, okay, we're getting like multiple cards in reverse right now. Let's see this one here, transformation, and give us one more, Spirit. Oh, okay. I feel like a few more actually want to come out. Okay, I'll take the top three. In fact, they're telling me like, yo, hold off on that, hold off on that. Let's just keep them in reverse for a bit. And then at the back of the deck, we've got patience. So yeah, using the Osho tarot deck today, and I've pulled 4 cards. Let's actually just reorganize this real quick. Yeah, I think this looks good. I think this is proper. I think this is proper. Makes sense. Alrighty. Something about a ring as well. I mean, I'm looking at my ring. I don't know if you've been put into a ring. You know, you have to having to like battle it out, fight it out. Yeah, something very interesting about that. Wow. You know, I'm looking at this. I can pivot on a keeps coming through. Goodness, guys, you're sitting on something really dope, something really powerful. So definitely review what it is that you're sitting on, and it's giving a release energy. But yeah, just coming back to what I was trying to say is looking at this card about I can pivot under any and all conditions. I'm actually seeing a compass here and a direction, you know. And was it yesterday or the day before? But we were talking about the compass, you know, and the different directions, you know, north, east, southwest. And, you know, over here, I'm seeing it as a plane. And this arrow is actually pointing away from all of these cards. And it's almost like, you know, if I think of, let's say, like left being the past and then future being the right hand side, it's like you have seen, like even this plane actually has a face on it. So you look into the future, and even though you're facing the past, that's where the compass or the change of direction is actually going to take place. So yeah, definitely something about direction, or perhaps there's like a change in direction. But yeah, let's go in, let's tap in. So the first 4 cards that I've pulled here is awareness in the reverse, going with the flow in the reverse, creativity in the reverse, and transformation upright. You know, I'm being led to start with this transformation card, and this transformation is similar to the death card in, you know, in the usual tarot deck. And, you know, for this card being right at the end, it just tells me that, you know, there's something's coming to a close, but then it's also giving rebirth energy. And like it's saying, transformation, you know, taking new shape, taking new form. Whatever form you were in now needs to change so you can take a new form. And as we know, there's that saying, form follows function. So it's like you have changed your routine, you've changed how you work, you've changed your intention and how you want to do things. So you realize that you need to take a new form. And with me starting at the end, Spirit's telling me like, yo, we got to go in reverse, because we got to see why we need to pivot from these things in the past. You know, if that's like the future or possible outcome card, it's like, let's look at this thing in layers. Let's peel it back. So for those who are like checking out the image on the video, you'll definitely see how this is unfolding. But yes, before I proceed, at the back of the deck, we've got patience in reverse. As I look at this patience, I'm getting you know, something about the moon cycles as well. I mean, there's like multiple moons here. There's a complete moon cycle, but then it also looks like this lady here is pregnant. You know, she's got a big tummy. She's holding onto her tummy. And then also, you know, relating this to the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, this would actually be the 7 of Pentacles. So it's like, do you have perhaps like a lack of patience, you know, like seeing things through? I'm getting an energy about persistency, consistency. I mean, here I am also, you know, coming on every day with the daily spread, you know, every day we're tapping in. But it's, I think, about a reminder to not forget those lessons. You know, it took some time to get here. You didn't come this far just to come this far. So I think it's a reminder again, apply those lessons, apply those teachings, and don't forsake the patience. I think, you know, beautiful things or things that are very long lasting take some time to grow. And with me having even placed it underneath this transformation card, it's speaking to how, you know, transformations do take time. and you don't want to rush the result. I remember in a few readings ago, I was speaking about making food in the microwave and then also making it in an oven. And, one is faster than the other, but the result is not the same. The taste is not the same. The outcome is not the same. And as I'm thinking about that, I'm just thinking about a process. And any process has like an input, the middle part where it's being processed, and then the output. So if you rush the process, if you are not patient enough through it, you might not necessarily yield the greatest outcome or greatest result thereof. All right. Okay. So again, we're peeling it back. Earlier on, I was speaking to the number 3, and here we have the number 3. And with this woman, with the patience card, I was saying she's got a big tummy. I was getting like Empress energy, and I'm getting the same thing right now with this creativity card, with it being number 3. And I think, it's like, yo, your fertility, your energy needs to be directed towards yourself. I'm getting something about how, creativity was perhaps one of the things that were in the past that were not given a lot of attention or time. So, wow, somebody's, also like thinking about a family and having a baby for some reason. Like, whoa, this collective, again, these energies are crazy. There's a lot coming through. But okay, let me go into the different streams of thought. Spirit's actually telling me there's another stream that's gonna come in, so maybe that's why there's 3. So one, okay, creativity. You have not, oh wow, put out, a lot of your creative sides, aspects, projects, ventures, adventures as well. I think there's a lot to speak to your creativity and how in the past you have actually like dumbed it down, or you've created things that you haven't put out into the world. I think it was a wondering or a fear as to how it was going to be received, how it was going to be seen. And I do see it also as an amalgamation of multiple energies that you tapped into so many different things. It's like you're trying to figure out how to structure it and put it together. On the second side, second stream of thought, it's speaking to this family creation energy. I'm getting something about smothering. So while there's good enough mothering, nurturing, caretaking that might take place, if we are overbearing, if we are too attached, then we don't give room to grow. We don't give room for expansion. And I'm also looking at the next card, which is going to be going with the flow. So it's like you're not giving it a chance to flow if you are harboring this thing. I'm even thinking about a harbor, how the ships come in and they park there. They literally chilling. Oh, sorry, confirmation burp. They don't move once they get to the harbor. They're just there to park. They're there to refuel. They're there to, gather whatever resources, that they need before they, venture off again. But I'm just getting something about not being too overbearing, not being too much with this thing. Again here, the third stream of thought that's coming through, it's like there have been people who've actually now come into the way of both of these things. It's like while you were thinking about your family and trying to create something solid, a good structure. And I'm thinking family not only in the sense of like you and your partner or counterpart having like a child and building upon that, but I'm also thinking like the groups that you were in. Like maybe you started a business and your colleagues are your family. You have found a new tribe, a new community or group to express this creative aspect. So it's like you were trying to balance things, but this third stream of thought was like these cockroaches, these insects, these these like just pests. Oh yes, that's the word. Thank you, Spirit. These pests were coming in the way of what was happening over here, and ultimately they were the ones that were messing with you going with the flow. Spirit's leading me to the next card, and it's also saying why we have 3 cards in reverse. Interesting. Okay, so going with the flow, this is the Ace of Wands, but in reverse. It's like, what? Your creativity, man, your expression, this emotional fulfillment that you were looking for, was like meant to be an extension of who you are. I'm getting something about like keeping up appearances, or, trying to direct energy, or trying to box it in, again with the smothering and the harboring. But it's like your throat chakra again. Oh, and of course, this is a blue card, and it's speaking to cups as well. Oh, I actually don't have a drink here today. That's interesting. Okay, so definitely just stay hydrated. I'm gonna make sure I do that just after this. Um, it's even now. I'm just like touching on the necklace that I have on, and it's like your throat chakra was actually being protected. I think there was a lot of things that you didn't say. Um, I'm even being led to tell you what's on my necklace, which is a smoky quartz, but it has a bit of like moss in it. It kind of also has like a bit of tourmaline in it. So it's almost like, what, your throat chakra has been prepared for multiple journeys or multiple aspects. You might be needing to speak in different ways or express in different ways. I'm being called to look at their creativity right now. But ultimately, when I think about the throat chakra, it's speaking to not only like speaking, but also listening, and ultimately also taking responsibility. So don't be feeling like too overly responsible ultimately for how the energy comes through. I think there's something about like not judging the energy, and again, that's why this going with the flow is in reverse. It's to say, work with the energy, understand the energy. Don't try to box it in or dictate how it's going to take shape, it's going to take form, because it's going to transform, it's going to move, it's going to fill up the container that it occupies, just like water does. Water will take the shape of the container that it's in. And as I'm thinking about that, I'm looking at my holding container of water here, and it's like we are vessels for thoughts, we are vessels for feelings, we are vessels for so many things. And if we are thinking about how we can be clear vessels or even open vessels, then we need to be conscious of what is unclean or what could be harming the vessel. So I'm definitely getting something about cleansing as well. So definitely cleanse yourself, cleanse your space. If you're thinking about, maybe detoxing, fasting, just things like that, an internal as well as an external cleanse. I'm also looking at this person laying down. It's like, they've given themselves more time to rest. So it's like, don't forsake the actions or activities that are going to keep you clear so that you can go with the flow. That, this stream, or this sea is free from distractions or alterations ultimately, because it's almost like you'll be guided by the stream, you'll be guided by the waves. I'm thinking about the song that I made called The Wave, and like the key word in there is, when I make the wave, we ride the wave. So if we are also creators made in the image of God, the wave has already been created. Again, I'm being drawn back to the creativity. So it's about riding this wave, just going with that flow. I'm also thinking about how, the moon and the tides, and, that goes with the flow of the water. And these pests, man, they were really trying to get in the way of that. They were trying to get you to see things in a different way. But I also get the sense that, they are decreasing in size. If they had planted certain things that were going to disturb you or harm you, as you get into your bag, they are going to be revealed and dispelled. It's like their doom. I'm also thinking about the doom spray. So that too, it's like it's in a can, it gets released. There's pressure, and as we know, pressure makes diamonds. So yeah, that's very interesting, very, very interesting. Again, I'm just rubbing my neck right now. There's definitely something about the neck. So maybe throat chakra meditation. I don't know, rubbing your throat. I don't know what it is, but just something about the throat here, very, very much important. And yeah, to just pay attention to that. Even in the reading yesterday, I was getting something about the neck and the throat being between the foundation and the puzzle. So it almost looks like there's an energy that's rising, but it needs, a pathway to go through. All right. Wow. Interesting. Okay. And then we have the awareness card in the reverse. You know, yesterday I was getting something about, integration. But today what's interesting is that I'm looking at this almost like unveiling, actually. Because it's like from the shadow, there's an emergence of, more blue energy. So it's like the past was made to dull you down or dim your light. I was even speaking about that earlier, how things were being like suppressed or kept back in a sense. So it's like you are recognizing that in your past there were things that were keeping you in the shadows, in like hidden in a sense, or behind the veil, and now the veil is being lifted. I'm even being reminded now how we are, like I mentioned, in this 1010 portal, and the energy is lit. And I'm doing readings on this Metatron's cube and Matt, and there's an energy here. It's like it's a portal as well. So it's about recognizing that, like a portal, it's like you stepping through, and again here it's like that previous or past place was like dumbing you down in terms of your ability to connect, to understand, to even maybe even tap into your intuition. My ear's going off right now. Ooh-wee. And it's like you weren't able to even hear everything that you needed to hear. So I'm definitely getting something about your senses being impacted, and ultimately you are now able to move beyond that, because now this is the unveiling. And I'm also being called to how I was reading this thing in reverse. So it's like starting from the future point. While the future is this open, unknown realm, you are now looking back to see what was it that was actually, the things that needed to change, or needing to be adjusted, or you're being made aware of these things. And then now we're going forward, because now with the next three cards, I'm just about to unveil them. Let's see what we got. Wow, interesting. And Spirit is telling me that this is just, more expansion on what we have above. So let me go in, right? So we have from left to right, clinging to the past. This is the Five of Cups. We have the Trust card again. You know how crazy it is, bruh? Like I shuffle these cards and then these messages just want to come out like this. But again, I think it's because of the intention of this whole series is that we want to see how the energy is building up and moving and taking shape and form over time. It's like speaking to like the energy being malleable and working with it, okay. But then the third card is understanding, and this is wow. So what? Trust and understanding, they are both yo man, the channeling's coming through right now. It's the Page of Cups as well as the Knight of Cups. So the other thing that I noted right now is that all these cups, all these water cups, are in the shape of a triangle right now, and all the other cards that are on the floor are actually major arcana cards. And then at the back of the deck we've got the Patience, which is the Pentacles. So again, I'm getting, with this triangle shape, with these blue cards making the triangle, I mean, three below and then one up at the top. It's like your structure is being defined, redefined as well, in a sense. As I'm thinking about the triangle shape, I'm also looking at this creativity card. It looks like this creativity card is almost like the branching point of all of these cards in a sense. It's so interesting because from that card, I'm seeing, this pyramid, I'm seeing this rainbow spectrum, all these colors, the transformations right next to it. So it's giving sense of the reading vibes, but even though it's not in the center. So I don't know, it's like, creativity wants to be put into the center, or it's coming center. So yeah, something about that. But yes, back to these water cards. This is something that's very emotional, very much linked to your intuition. Yo, I'm also getting recognition right now. And of course, we have to go in to understand what we're feeling, our behaviors, and so on. But yes, there's something about pyramids, something about Egypt as well. And as we know, the pyramids were not built in a day. So I'm also getting this patience card. It's about not rushing this transformation and knowing that, the things that you feel are going to be revealed over time, and they're not messing with what's energy, right? They're not messing with their energy. So what's yours is yours. That's definitely what's coming through right there. And again, if you see your world through the eyes of Source, you know that your energy is yours. You are the creator. You can branch out, stand out. You can, make these different connections and, spread your web such that everything that is for you finds its way back to you. And that's why you shouldn't be clinging to the past. Because, that's what we were looking at with this reading, looking at it in reverse. With this clinging to the past in reverse, that's telling me that this awareness is what is highlighting that we are no longer clinging to the past. We are no longer going to be puzzled or, I'm looking at this image here like somebody's got their head in a block, and it's reminding me of the mind card that we had yesterday. But this is like almost like it's speaking to almost like a creative block in a sense. So it's like, don't be so concerned about even your creative pursuits and how they turned out in the past. You are in a place where you can actually now tap into your heart, tap into your sacral again. I'm seeing that with the green and the yellow on this card, and know that your expression is actually divine. We are all divine expressions of Source. And I'm looking at all these stars around it, and it's like you were being preserved or being crafted or created into this great artwork, because what you don't see is this beautiful cup behind you. It's actually the first time I noticed this in this card. Granted, I don't use this deck a lot, but okay, that's actually part of the message. It's like there are certain gifts that you have that you haven't even used so much, and you're yet to see them emerging or coming forward to actually yield the results that they need to yield. And it looks like it's going to be something that's from your heart, but it's also something that's very grounding and earthing, that's true to you, because I'm looking at this frame and I see green and red. So it's like green, red, green, yellow. Definitely a merging of the lower chakras and how those are bringing the stability. Again, I'm being reminded of the triangle. Interesting how Spirit's asking me to move to the next two cards, and I mentioned that it is the Page of Cups as well as the Knight of Cups, and in this deck they're showing them as triangles, a triangle which are both pointed or pointing to the right. So, if I'm thinking about what I just said, pointed, it's like you're pointed to the direction that is away from the pests. And even if they try to get at you, you are now, moving away from them. But then with them being pointed towards the future and this transformation and, not having this lack of patience, it's like you are now going to a place where you can actually trust this flow, the stream that you are gonna go with me seeing the trust in reverse, undergoing with the flow. But then also you've now gotten to a point or place where the bird is leaving the cage. I'm thinking about this song by J. Cole and Omen. I think it's called A Caged Bird, and they speaking to how the bird in the cage is always singing, but you never know what type of song it's singing. Is it singing a song of like freedom, of release? But ultimately, if the cage, if the bird remains in the cage, it never gets to express its full and truest creativity. And with these cards being together as they are, it's like this is the offering, this is the opportunity that's coming through to you. I'm even seeing the Knight of Cups in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, how he's on a horse and is like got his cup out. So it's like you're being offered this chance to share your heart, share your love, share your offering, share the creativity ultimately, because that is actually what's in the future, and both things are moving forward. So it's like a relearning, of course, with the page, but then it's also about taking action. And again, understanding that this is something that's calling you. I'm looking at the birds in this card. As much as there's a bird that's like, with this cage with an open door, it's an invitation to join other birds, other people, other beings who are going to actually meet you. It's like they're waiting for you just to start flying, because they are also wanting for you to join their colony or their group. You know how when birds are like flying and immigrating together, they all move in a particular like fashion, form. They'll even migrate from place to place. And I'm just getting that energy that, you know what, once you take this leap, once you spread your wings, you are actually going to fly and join this greater group. These birds are yellow birds, and I'm getting something about it being like godly, divine. I'm thinking about you've got many angels, guides who are protecting you, who are watching over you. And it's almost like they're giving you a signal or a sign like, hey, it's time for you to fly now. Because as I'm looking at the bird that's like leaving the cage, it's almost like looks like it's, getting ready for flight. It's, shaking its wings in a sense. It's like you dusting off whatever was holding you back. I'm getting 10 of Wands energy right now. So it's like you're about to drop your burdens and just let it go. Again, I'm being called to this oracle card that we pulled, and in it again there's a bird or a plane. Who is it? It's Superman. But yeah, this bird or plane is, changing direction. It's about to pivot and it's about to take flight. So interesting how, this message is just connecting and coming all together. And now they're saying, look at the future, which is the transformation. In this transformation card, there's a bird that's emerging. It looks like a phoenix. So we know we're emerging from the ashes. We're leaving the past behind. We are, burning ties or cutting cords from what didn't serve. I'm even seeing all the images in here. There's like a cord that actually looks like it's being cut, and then there's like a sword as well as a yin yang symbol. So it's about, stepping into your strength, getting into balance as well, masculine, feminine. But then also I'm seeing this lotus flower, and this lotus flower, while it's also, speaking to, like, I'm reminded of the logo of this channel, I think it's speaking to your bloom, your blossoming. That is what's happening right now. And with this card, I'm looking at the white, the blue, the red, and then also like the shade of green. It's like now there's a rising of energy. I'm now thinking about the upper chakras. So it's like you're gonna, go from the heart all the way to the crown and even above that. So wow. There's this chakra above the crown chakra. I think it's like called the star chakra or something like that. But you're the star, and it's like you're gonna tap into this whole new level. And that's why these guides, these other birds, are now calling you to step up, because they're calling you. I'm even getting the judgment card right now. So there might also be some judgment that's taking place as well. Interesting. Yeah. Being called to share two angel numbers with you that I pulled earlier today. And I think we're going to leave the reading right there. So the first one is 672, and it says, trust that you are exactly where you need to be right now, and that you're learning valuable lessons and gaining strength. Wow, at the beginning of this reading, I mentioned that somebody's learning some new things. So here you are. These valuable lessons are teaching you how to hone in on your strength, and you're also gaining strength. You're going to be more powerful. And then again, 678, another synchronicity, or sequential numbers. Earlier in the reading, we were I noted, I think, was it 1 2 3 or 2 3 4, and now we have 6 7 8. So energy is definitely rising. But yeah, for 6 7 8, it says a huge improvement in your finances is occurring right now. So I think that is a beautiful message. As always, thank you for spending your time with me, Mr. G3E. And please do like, share, subscribe. Let's do the absolute most from coast to coast, spreading that love everywhere, spreading that light everywhere. And let us be seen. Let us be seen, guys. Let's take up space in this place. And of course, it's a race, but taking our steps, yeah? Taking our steps thoughtfully. So anyways, guys, peace and love. I'll catch you next time. Always love, gang. Yay, yay.